everyone, welcome back to Blue Ridge Silverhound. I'm your host Sean for today. As if there was any other, but you never know, we might have a special guest pop up one day. But yes, today's video is going to be focused around some neat little Lincoln cents that maybe you've come across and you want to know a little bit more information. These things right now are kind of an oddity, and they are kind of wrapped up in their own little area or classification, what have you, of coins. Okay, these have been embraced in the community as being what's called exonumia. Exonumia is simply just a class of coins that it's kind of like a melting pot of various like oddities, like Civil War tokens, store cards, trade tokens, elongated coins, like the pennies that people stretch out, with a design of a theme park or, a national park or whatever. You see the machines, every so often. But also in there, we also have these counter-stamped Lincoln cents. I'm going to tell you what, and I'm just going to squash it before it gets too knee-deep into some sort of conversation. I'm not going to lie. These are damaged coins, okay? Along with any other counter-stamped coin, all right? The purist will see these as damaged coins, okay? Coin purists. But believe it or not, these have a little bit of history. And by the end of the video, by the time I discuss how much these coins actually sell for, you might be in for a little bit of a surprise. So stay tuned there toward the end. But this is probably one of the more common coins that you will come across out there with a counter stamp. Okay, you have Lincoln, and then in addition, you will have Kennedy facing the other way. This is the most common counter stamp that you'll come across, and the most affordable. Yeah, I can't believe I'm talking about affordability when it comes to these aftermarket coins. Now, going back as far as I can, there was a company called Thomas SOS Enterprises that produced these nifty little, informational cards. I'll actually throw one up here in a moment. But as you can see, these things were produced with a counter stamp coin, and it pops up a little bit of fun facts on there. All right, in the case of the Lincoln Kennedy card that you see here, these were generally manufactured and produced so that way they could be handed out at local banks. All right, as kind of like an extra bonus. So, you sign up for a checking account today and I'll give you one of these cards, or maybe it was used as just advertisement. So on the Lincoln Kennedy piece that you see here, typically these will have like little coincidental fun facts. There's 7 letters in the last name of Kennedy. Lincoln was elected in 1860, while Kennedy was elected in 1960, so they're 100 years apart exactly. Things of that nature. And if you just read on down the list, it gets kind of deep and dark and kind of macabre by the time they talked about the assassinations and everything like that. So these were neat little pieces that you were able to obtain at the bank. All right, so here is another one that I'm going to flash up on the screen here for you. And this is going to be a state counter stamp. Okay, in the case here, we have a sample of a Montana. The outline of the state actually counter stamped in the same position above the date on the Lincoln coin. Okay, in addition, it also has other kind of like informational facts like population, biggest city, things like that. And again, these were distributed to local banks. Okay, so that's how it all came to be. They were kind of a thing back in the early 70s into the maybe 80s. These were commonplace. All right, so as far as rarity is concerned, okay, they're not rare at all. Okay, they're easily available out there in the marketplace. So I also wanted to talk about a few other different types of counter stamps. What we have here is a coin that has a double counter stamp. Okay, 1969, of course, there is some symbolism with the moon and then the NASA shuttle. All right, you put them both together, 1969, I think we could paint that picture. All right, it's a neat little oddity that was crafted during its day. the thing about these counter stamps, as you come across them, all right, the stamps with double stamps or three stamps are going to be worth a little bit more than the single stamps, like that Kennedy that we saw at the beginning of the video. So here's another one right here that I've had for a while. Okay, let's go ahead and piece up this mystery. We got Liberty Bell over here. We got an outline of the United States. And 1976. This was the year of the bicentennial. All right, so 1776 all the way to 1976. Thomas SOS Enterprises produced this coin too. Pretty neat design with two different counter stamps in there. So I talked about earlier of these coins being damaged. Okay, there's no denying that that's what it is. However, we could go all the way back to around the Civil War age, okay, and counter stamps have long been in prominence since that time, okay, for a good reason. People were using host coins like this 1953 Arrows and Rays $50 as a host coin to stamp in their business information. Okay, these were commonly referred to as Civil War store cards. In the case here of J.M. Taylor, he is a broker. His office was on Chatham Street in Corporal James, New York. I guess that's New York City. Someone can maybe chime in to tell me where exactly this is. But this was a common occurrence. Again, stamped in coin, damage. However, this coin right here, because of what it is, all right, it's a Civil War store card of a known merchant in the state of New York, okay, effectively made a coin which generally would be worth about $15 into something that's worth 150, okay, 10 times its value. So do not sleep on counter stamps. They do have a place out there in the market. And in addition, they're just all collectible as get out. Really neat stuff. So I want to talk a little bit about a series of counter stamps, and that's the states. Okay, we have a sample here of Maryland. And yes, there is one for each state, including Hawaii and Alaska. And these are very fun to collect. And believe it or not, these have a little bit of value, which we'll go to at the end of the video. But as you can see, 1979, these were produced around 77 to 1980. So they were produced for a number of years. I actually remember seeing these on card as my dad brought them home from the bank. I have one somewhere around here with the actual card, much like you saw of the Montana at the beginning of the video. It's a really neat oddity. Again, there are 50 states. Go out and try and collect them. I've collected all the states twice. Bing. Bada bing there, guys. I've collected all the states twice. I've sold one set for $85. So that's 50 coins. That comes out to about $1.70 a piece, somewhere around there. So they do have a little bit of secondary market. Now keep in mind, I sold an entire set for $85, whereas if you sold them individually, they'll be worth a little bit more, not a whole lot. But I have nearly a full roll. I have almost another complete set of the states. So what we're going to do is pull out a few more here so that way you can see just the overall look and quality of these coins. Generally, you will find these in pretty good shape because once they're found, they are scooped right out of circulation, and usually in the higher grades like this, that seems to be the case. So we have California right here, okay? Doesn't quite 100% look like the state of California. It looks like something else, to be honest. So we have that one there. Texas. There you go. Go big or go home in Texas. All right, so we got that one there. And these are all, again, in nice shape. All right, so far I've shown you all 1979s. It's no coincidence that if they were all 79, because it was the main year in which they made this. Now this looks like, what is this, Delaware? It's looking a little chubby for the state of Delaware. I figured maybe it'd probably be New Hampshire from the look of things, but no, that's Delaware. All right, so there's another 79. And these were all pulled out of one box of Lincoln cents, probably 2 years ago. And all I need, I believe, is about 3 other states to collect to have another full set. There's New Jersey. What did Delaware? Her New Jersey, of course, right? Could it be anything else? All right, so here's another one, 1979. And we have Massachusetts on this one. It's pretty neat, pretty neat kind of find and change. Again, they're not rare. You could probably go through a box of pennies and maybe find one. Of course, the more common ones are going to be the Kennedy profile. Those things were just mass produced up to the hilt, that's for sure. And there's also one with a little bit of heart on the side also, kind of like a Valentine's love token that was stamped right above the date. That one is also pretty common. So we got Arkansas there. All right, next one here. This one has a little bit of a spot, but it's Ohio, another 79. Again, the more common date to find the state variants. 79, Hawaii. They actually did a pretty good job putting multiple islands on there. The only thing I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure these were manufactured with an actual high output press. Like, they're not going to sit there and hand stamp these. They might, but it's going to take a little bit of time for them to finish however many they're producing, whether it's like 50,000 a piece or whatever. So there's Alaska. And no, I do not know what the actual production numbers of these coins are. So there's no specific amount that they made, okay, or one is more rarer than the other. They're all equally, available in some aspect. So we got New Mexico. But you get the big idea. I'm going to show you a few more, and then we'll get into the actual values of these suckers. We got Nebraska. All right, it's pretty cool. All in good shape, too. The one group that I sold for $85 back in 2013, I believe, wasn't nearly as high quality as this. That one was hand assembled. And we got Kansas right there for you. So that's the last one of the group. Actually, I'll show you one more. And it's going to be Illinois. All right, there you go. So those are a sampling of counter stamps that I've accumulated over the past. But let's go ahead and flash up a few completed eBay screens, so that way you have a general knowledge of what these are selling for today. So I'm going to show you first and foremost kind of like a generalized, average for some of the more common ones. As you can see, we have different counter stamps there. The going rate for these on their own singularly shipped is between $1 and $3. Okay, if you did want to sell these and you have a number of them, put them on eBay, put them for like $249, $295, buy it nows, and then throw it in a small envelope with a stamp. And you'll probably profit about $1.80 a piece. That's not a whole lot, but considering that it's a penny, it's 1 cent, that is 185 times face that you will have netted out profit-wise. It's not a lot, but they all add up, and they're just neat. Now, if you wanted to go into collecting them, that's where it's cool because it's very affordable. So here is also a snapshot of some coins that are a little bit more, I guess, tougher to find. So what I did was sort them by highest price all the way down, and these were from the last like 60 days. So from the top, you have the 1926 with the Ford logo stamped in there. It's all in cursive. That's an old school Ford logo. That one sold for $23.87. You also have the 1912 with a star stamped right on there. This is an older one. It sold for $19. This one's cool. 1960D Playboy Bunny sold for $12.95. And there is also the 1909 VDB with an X and O, hug and kiss, stamp right in there. It sold for $8.26. Now, there are a few. Okay, these things are still being produced today on brand new Lincoln cents. 18s, 19s, whatever. Okay, and people are taking advantage of kind of like current like market trends. For example, people are selling a whole bunch of brand new 2019s with a marijuana leaf stamp right above the date, and they're selling them for like $3 to $5 a piece. And yes, that is a real thing. People are actually doing this along with a few, I've seen some with, all sorts of other things that are like current to today's kind of popularity, in the news type thing. But anyways, that's counterstamp pennies for you. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. Let me go ahead and flash up the Kennedy one. One last time. There you go, because, we're going to start it how we end it. Or we're going to end it how we started, I guess, right? So I want to thank you guys for joining in. As always, like, share, subscribe. Your support goes a long way in providing better, bigger, brighter content for the future. In addition to some of those amazing giveaways, just give away a whole bunch of stuff for the holidays to 5 lucky people. And I want to be able to do this continuously every month, all throughout the year, because you guys deserve it. It's my way of giving back. And again, subscribe, hit that button, hit the bell for instant notifications. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And as always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. All right, take care, guys.